I'm Dr. Chris Ho, a skin cancer physician here in Brisbane. Maybe you've seen niacinamide on a skincare label or heard someone say they're taking vitamin B3 for their skin. It sounds promising, a vitamin that repairs sun damage, evens the tone, and may even lower skin cancer risk. But how much of this is real? And here's something few people realize. The same vitamin now sold as a beauty ingredient once sat at the center of a deadly epidemic that tore through communities just a century ago. Let's walk through that first, the story, from tragedy to discovery to science and now to modern marketing, so that you can see where vitamin B3 really fits in your health. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, parts of the southern United States lived on maize or corn. The catch? When maize is eaten plain, it doesn't release usable vitamin B3. People on this unbalanced diet developed pellagra, the disease of the three Ds: dermatitis, diarrhea, and dementia. And there is a fourth D: death, because it could be fatal. Families were torn apart and whole communities weakened, all for lack of one vitamin, vitamin B3. When scientists finally traced the cause to B3, everything changed. From deficiency to despair came hope and prevention. That was the first wave: discovery and deficiency. Governments began fortifying foods, and by mid century, pellagra had vanished from most developed countries. A quiet victory for nutrition science and a reminder of how closely health follows what we eat. The second wave arrived decades later, from the 1960s through the 1990s, as researchers explored B3's broader roles. Vitamin A had entered skincare early through the retinoids. B3 came later, quietly but decisively. Studies through the 1990s and 2000s showed that niacinamide strengthens the skin barrier, reduces pigmentation, smooths texture, and helps repair sun induced DNA damage. Then came a turning point. In 2015, the on-track trial in Australia tested nicotinamide 5,000 milligrams twice daily in people with a history of multiple skin cancers. The result? A 23% reduction in new non-melanoma skin cancers within a year. Real science, not marketing. As a skin cancer physician in Brisbane, this carries weight for me because we see some of the highest skin cancer rates in the world, and practical prevention matters. Next came the modern wave, where hype took over from the early 2000s onward, and especially through the 2010s and 2020s. Vitamin B3 became the darling of marketing. It is now the darling of marketing. You have miracle serums, triple strength creams, and high dose capsules promised far more than science ever could. Social media crowned it as the ultimate secret. The evidence still supports steady, specific use, but marketing turned it into magic. Niacinamide works best at moderate doses, consistently and over time, not overnight. So, where does vitamin B3 actually come from? From real food: meats, fish, nuts, and green vegetables. Most of us get enough through a balanced diet. Supplements can help in special situations, but more isn't always better. Just as with vitamin A, the dose makes the difference. High dose niacin, the form called nicotinic acid, B3, was once used to lower cholesterol, but it often caused flushing and rarely it caused liver stress. Niacinamide, the skincare form, avoids the flushing, but higher doses doesn't mean faster or better results. A quick note about alcohol. Heavy drinking can drain the B vitamins. Alcohol gives calories without nutrients and interferes with absorption and storage. It's often called empty calories. For B3, the risk rises because poor diet and alcohol often go hand in hand. That's why pellagra once appeared not only in maize based diets, but also among people struggling with alcoholism. Step back and look at the pattern. Vitamin A story ran on early hype. Vitamin B3 revolved around energy and tonic shots. Vitamin B3's journey is quieter. First, a devastating deficiency, then decades of slow signs, and suddenly, finally, in the 2000s onwards, a wave of overselling in cosmetics and supplements. So, what's the take home? For skincare, niacinamide 2 to 5% has good evidence for improving pigmentation, texture, and barrier strength. If you are at high risk for skin cancers, lots of sun damage, or multiple past cancers, oral nicotinamide 500 milligrams twice daily is something worth discussing with your doctor. But if you see miracle overnight results or cancer curing promises, that's marketing, not medicine. And remember, vitamins don't work in isolation. B3 is part of the B complex family. They all work best when you eat real food, a diet rich in colorful fruits, vegetables, nuts, and lean proteins gives your body not one instrument, not one vitamin, but the whole orchestra of vitamin, and they work together to make your health full. Think of a kiwi fruit, famous for vitamin C, but also full of other vitamins and antioxidants, or a red capsicum, another powerhouse. When we eat widely, we nourish the full picture of health. Vitamin B3's story stretches from pellagra to prevention to the noise of marketing. It shows how easily truth can be exaggerated and how steadily science goes and still wins in the end. So when you hear the noise, pause and ask, is this hype or evidence? Knowing the difference helps you choose wisely for your skin, for your health, and for your peace of mind. Next time you spot vitamin B3 under the guise of niacin, nicotinic acid, or niacinamide on a label, you'll know the story behind it. And if this talk gave you some clarity, share it with someone who might be wondering the same. And then join me in the next episode, Vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, with its own mix of hope, hype, and hard science.